Hey, all my Leo friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your April 2025 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So I'm talking about this Leo rising as the first house and dictating the landscape of the chart. If you don't know your rising sign, you'll want to go to any one of the free birth calculators on the internet, and you just need your exact time and location of birth to determine that information. When I refer to it a day and a time, it's based on the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location. What I'm going to do is talk about basically what I think are the most influential aspects. And a lot of what's happening in April is a continuation of March. I'm going to do separate videos for the full moon and the new moon, so I won't address them in this video, but I will mention that there's a full moon at 23 degrees of Libra on the 12th of April at 5:22 p.m. Pacific time. This is rather significant because this is on the fixed star Spica, and somehow it's going to illuminate something that's going to give you more a sense of harmony, a sense of potential cooperation with your inner voice, the voice of the angels within you, because you are angelic, whether you know it or not. And then we have a new moon, April 27th. That's going to be at 7 degrees of Taurus at 12:31 p.m. So now let's pull up the chart and take a look at what's going on, because we have a huge stellium in Pisces, and that is going to, as I said, continue on through most of the April energies. So here we see there's the Leo rising. We can see that Saturn is at 24 degrees of Pisces. Venus is retrograde still at the beginning of the month, 27 degrees with an exact conjunction to the North Node. And then Mercury is retrograde. All of this is in your eighth house of transformation. Now, this is rather an interesting dynamic because it's the transformation of going from feeling invisible, feeling potentially, there's an interesting dynamic with the Leo energy because Leo rules the zodiac, it rules the heart, it rules courage. And yet when we get to the eighth house of other people's money, power, and influence over us, there's the potential of feeling invisible or feeling not as powerful or as strong as it depends on the planets in your eighth house. But with this stellium, this is what is going on. This is a surrendering to the power and control that you feel either through fear or through dominance when it comes to money, when it comes to your self-talk, when it comes to the structures you're building in your life. Neptune just moved into Aries. This is in your ninth house. This is an energy that is going to, in many ways, be polarizing. In one respect, people who are living very earthbound are going to feel a sense of erosion potentially of the self. They're going to feel a sense of potential loss. They're going to feel like things are slipping through their fingers. Yet those that are paying attention to their thoughts, paying attention to their focus, will see this Neptune for the spiritual opportunities to connect with the divine within and then manifest on this very critical 0 degree of Aries, which is the world access, the beginning of the zodiac, the most powerful sign for co-creation. And this is in your house of beliefs, about belief in yourself, about rewriting who and what you think you are, or aligning to who and what you think you have always been. This stellium is going to continue on. Mercury is going to continue to retrograde. So is Venus, really dominating the first half of the month in retrograde and then stationing before getting some energies moving forward. We can see here at the beginning of the month that Saturn is making a positive aspect to Mars in your 12th house of Cancer. Mars doesn't particularly like being in Cancer. It's been in Cancer for quite some time. And as it's been doing so, it's had to address for you specifically, Leo rising, how you nurture yourself, whether you actually allow yourself a deeper sense of awareness about the family imprint, about the motherly experience, about the sense of nurturing and what you're creating in that way. The fire signs, are very passionate. They're very driven. They're very motivated and action oriented. And yet when we're looking at the 12th house of Cancer, there's this underbelly of potentially some insecurities or unsuredness maybe within the emotional body, and it could have a lot to do with your ability to receive. The 12th house is also the natural house of Pisces. So your 12th house and the transformation that is going on here in your 8th house is being cooperative for you to become more aware that your thoughts are things and they co-create regardless of the stars. So let's talk a little bit about Venus retrograding in the 8th house. Venus rules money. The 8th house rules money. Pisces can potentially rule things that feel unseen or things that feel invisible. This retrograde will give you an opportunity through Venus's energy to see what you actually believe, and if you're taking your action on fear or faith. Faith is very calm. It's very not oriented to the timing of things, but knowing that things are coming in the right timing of things. And Venus also rules our self-worth, our partnerships, not only our intimate partnerships, but our professional partnerships. The 8th house is a house where we commingle our funds, potentially with professional partnerships in the form of financial advisors, investors, etc. So being patient, being diligent, and trusting a bigger picture of the potentials and utilizing Neptune's energy in the house of self, which naturally trines your first house, to rewrite your beliefs and start to take your action in an inspired manner versus potentially a fear-based manner. Saturn is at 24 degrees and will be sextiling Uranus here in your 10th house of career. It's also the house of public status, public reputation. It's the most visible house in your particular chart. And as such, it's making a favorable aspect to Saturn. Now, Saturn moves slowly, potentially. Saturn rules history. Pisces rules your ancestral history. Saturn rules the history of mankind, and Taurus rules the family history. There is an opportunity to rewrite something or an imprint and to revolutionize yourself, release yourself through integration of what you've been building and how you've been building it. So if you have felt restriction about people, let's say, buying into your ideas, potential hearing from jobs, hearing about any money investments or potential purchases even, or even potentially, now this is going to sound a little weird, traveling or potentials, money related to traveling you into the future that you're looking to create. Because okay, let me back up. I got a little excited. Jupiter co-rules Pisces. Jupiter rules your belief system. It rules the expansion of beliefs, and it rules travel. So literally, you could find yourself traveling to a new place in your belief system that starts to rewrite a sense of invisibility that allows the universe to actually start to attract the energies that you're looking to experience, create, or that will create security for you. Because Taurus rules money, the 8th house rules money, the 2nd house rules money as well. This is a money access. So a lot of money, or the potentials of making money, come from our sense of our ability to receive money. I hope that I'm being clear, because I feel a little choppy. And as you can see, the planets are retrograde. So that's very potential. Okay. Let's move on to the 6th, because on the 6th, we're going to see Venus in a nice tight trine to Mars. And there's Mercury. This is a time of reflection, but the reflection brings some sort of awareness, some sort of epiphany, some sort of opportunity, because we see also Saturn moving forward. Venus is retrograde, Mercury is retrograde, and Venus and Saturn are both making trines which is a favorable aspect to Mars. Will you be brave in looking about, because this is the hard thing about a fixed sign. When you're a fixed sign, your physical and earth experiences are going to be the ground with which you build your castle on. Now, the challenge with that is that you rule the fifth house. The fifth house is about joy and pleasure and the things that bring you a sense of excitement about life. Romance is there. The conception of children is there. It's where, as you finish your childhood experience and you start to go into the sixth house and launch your adult experience. So I bring this up because this trine is asking you if you are supporting the bigger version of yourself, or if inadvertently you have been stuck in an old story. If you can't see it, it's not happening. And if I don't manage it, it's not going to come to me. That could be a big challenge, because the thing about the Pisces energy is it is literally the soul incarnate. It is the last house of the zodiac. It is in the quadrant of transcendence. It represents the ultimate transcendence from the physical back into the collective. And as we experience this stellium in Pisces in the house of transformation, it's giving you an opportunity to start to activate the peaceful warrior, the spiritual co-creator, the true lion king or lioness queen of your own life. I hope that makes perfect sense. Or no, maybe not perfect sense, but I hope it makes sense, because I can't emphasize enough that the stars aren't happening to us. The stars are creating a landscape for us to make choices. And as we make those choices to the vibration that is most authentic to us, that brings us joy, brings us pleasure, brings a sense of leadership to us, a sense of knowing that we have the courage to claim our happiness, this will start to work for you. On the 7th, Mercury will move direct. It will still be in shadow period, but we see that we've got still a very tight conjunction between these three planets. Venus, again, representing money, self-worth, partnerships. Saturn representing building a strong connection with the divinity within your physical experience, talking to your guides, your angels, God, whoever you believe oversees you and guides you and has loving support of you, and then being mindful of your thoughts. That's so important, because all of this bravery, even though Mars doesn't like being in this sign, as Mars moves into your first house, it's going to come into a conjunction again with Pluto. And this is going to be the third time that you've felt this conjunction. And it's really a big deal, because it's giving you an opportunity to really recognize the toxicity that lives on a subconscious level and allows it to be transformed. And that could be the frustration of not being able to see the answer, the frustration of not being able to truly trust your gut. And I'm not trying to get up your grill, but it's so human to be that way. It's when things seem to be moving, it's easy to trust the signs and the omens, but when things seem to be stalled, it makes it a little more challenging. On the 11th, we're going to see the Sun and Chiron conjunct in Aries. We're already seeing it here on the 7th. We're going to see it exact 22 degrees on the 11th. And I think this is an important dynamic, because this is really, now we see this happen once a year at this time. As long as Chiron has been in Aries, we've felt this conjunction, but not at the same time as this stellium in Pisces, because here I think this is an opportunity to really recognize the ego. The sun is your ruling planet. It is exalted in Aries. And here I want to reframe something, because often I'll refer to the ego as edging God out. Now I want to reframe it as exciting God opportunities, when I am aware bravely of what am I thinking? Am I building a strong structure based on abundance, on the reward that Saturn has to offer, or am I on limitation and fear? And then here's Venus joining the party again, bringing in the more how do I want to phrase Venus? Venus brings in the cozy, brings in the luxury, brings in the sense of connection with others and the flow. And that includes with our resources, because that's where the luxury and the sense of security comes in. So all of this is supported by Mars over here. But again, it's going to take conscious awareness. What am I going to focus on the wound, or am I going to focus in on the transformation of the wound that has inspired me into this place? Okay. Venus will go direct the day after the full moon on the 13th. And again, the conversation continues. This is going on throughout the whole month. I know there's other planets. Jupiter's involved here. Pluto is involved, but really this is the March and April are sort of like a blending of 2 months into one. On the 16th, Mercury will enter Aries, and we see this trine continue. We go here to the 16th. Now we see Mercury and Neptune both at the 0 degree of Aries, continuing the trine to Mars, as Mars is entering your first house. Now, Mars is making that opposition to Pluto. This is going to be very powerful because something potentially annoying, potentially, feeling control, feeling a sense of, it could come from government, it could come from a spouse, it could come from your own, way of thinking. But I believe there's going to be a period of time here in the last part of April that we start to feel this weird push-pull between an old dynamic and will I address it in the same way? Opposition between Pluto and Mars. They are strange bedfellows because they both rule Scorpio, the 8th house. And this is your 8th house. So there's synergy in a weird way, because as you become brave and you go, okay, that was then, this is now, okay, I recognize that I'm afraid of not having money. I recognize I'm afraid of dying alone. I recognize that I'm blah, 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 whatever the trepidation or fear may be. It's not about hanging on the fear. It's about recognize that's part of the human experience. And as you allow yourself to go, ooh, ebb and flow through the human experience, you realign to spirit with your thoughts. Thank you, Spirit, for helping align my thoughts into abundance. Thank you, Spirit, for helping align my thoughts into a dynamic and a version of myself that suits me more than some potentially fear-based human muggle mind. That's where I'm going with that. All right, then on the 18th, we will see Mars move into Leo, your first house again, and we start to see this will get very tight. On the 25th, we're going to see this in Mars and Pluto in an exact opposition. Again, this is the 3rd time that we're experiencing this energy. We spent most of the back half of, or I should say the last quarter of 2024 experiencing this energy. Mars again was in fall in Cancer. Pluto had a little last few degrees of Capricorn. And then as they shifted signs, we're experiencing this again. So intention is important right now. We also still have the trine to, now we see the trine here is including Venus and Neptune and Saturn. It's a loose trine here. Mercury's kind of coming out of the stellium a little bit, but it's still applicable. Oh, and I also want to say, I should have done this earlier. Let me go back to the 19th. I missed something. Hold one moment. Bear with me, my Leos. I love you so much. On the 19th, we do see Uranus making an exact sextile to Venus and Saturn and the North Node, and obviously complementing the South Node. I think that this is really powerful because I think this could give you lightning strike ideas. And sometimes when you're manifesting something, you may potentially, Leo, only see one avenue to get that manifestation made. And Uranus is going to bring in something unexpected. That could be an idea, it could be a conversation, it could be something you see on the news or in some sort of media on the internet that brings in an idea or literally you could receive a message of some kind that turns things around. This is really going to be a very contingent upon your Neptunian energy, meaning your ability to surrender to what you see and then start to intend very clearly with what you want. Okay, let's go now to the 30th. I'm sorry if I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. I got to tell you, I have Neptune on my south node. I'm trying very hard to be more organized than it may appear to be. All right, this month is interesting because it ends with Venus at 0 degrees of Aries. Technically, she's moving back into her detriment. I don't necessarily believe that anymore. I think Venus is more self-actualized here in the 21st century, and she is still in a conversation with her best friend. They are in new territory here together. So this is Venus as a receptive feminine energy and Neptune as a spiritual opportunity to be aware of my emotional body, offering me an opportunity to, how do I want to phrase this? For awareness. I really think it's about awareness. It's not about action right now. It's about this sort of non-judgmental awareness of a human imprint that you didn't know was really in play. Now you know it's in play, and you engage spirit to help your wobble come into balance. We do see a square to Jupiter here from the North Node and Saturn and the South Node. It's rather a loose one, but again, it complements what I just said about your belief system. So this particular last 2 months for everyone is really reviewing your spiritual beliefs. Where do I inadvertently escape the challenges, the troubles, or where do I hope somebody else will come in and save me? And not that you can't be supported, but that tendency to feel lack will thwart or hold off a solution. So this is what we're looking at. We're really looking at a period of time in the beginning of 2025 where our thoughts, our sense of self, our sense of confidence is becoming more obvious to us. And that is being aligned to the laws of attraction, the laws of the universe. And those that have been in awareness will start to harness those energies and they'll start to work for them. And then there'll be people who really are challenged by their earthbound eyes, because again, when you walk with I'll believe it when I see it, you're walking up a hill. When you say to yourself, I'll see it as I believe it, you're walking through a valley. All right, everybody, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll come back next month for my other musings, and like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you soon, Leo. Have a great April. Bye-bye.